We've reached the part of the podcast where we're going to be talking about betting, and who better to come on than the old man himself, David, aka Better DP21. How you doing, my man?
Doing good, another day older, another day wiser to give out, proper bet information to everybody.
I mean, like, for those, David's birthday was earlier in the week, and like, it's kind of funny. Like, you remember when we were like young pups in our 20s, we'd go out until like 4 a.m., just be ripping Jaegers on our birthday, dude.
Dude.
And now it's like, oh, I went out, I had dinner, it's just kind of crazy. Like, when you just kind of sit back and you kind of think to yourself, God damn it, dude, I'm old.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's the
mean?
thing.
Like,
I don't like think I'm old, but yeah, I got you.
you know what I mean? It's like, God damn it, dude. Like, when the hell did I get old? And like, my parents say that to me all the time. And it's just like, I guess this is the year I'm kind of realizing that, if that makes sense. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Right.
but you guys aren't here to listen to two old men talk about getting old. You're here to make some money. 31-20-3 last week. Special thank you to the Chargers for blowing that game last week. Special thank you to the Buccaneers for blowing that game last week as well.
Yep.
I felt I was right on the Keenan Allen. He had 13 targets. He just, Herbert
Get
overthrew him
there.
a couple times. Just a hair off. We did beat the number by 7 yards, so that was good. But new week, new opportunities. And for those watching or listening for the first time, how it works is David gives a first half bet. I give a player prop. David gives a side or a total. Then I give a side or a total. As always, David kicks us off. David, where are we going to first?
All right, so looking at the first half together, I'm looking at the Giants Eagles game. The line's currently sitting in the first half at a 4.5 cover for the Eagles as the favorite. Over unders are looking at 23.5, I think, on the Vegas total right now. So looking at the Giants Eagles game, I'm going on the side of the Eagles minus 4.5 for the first half. My numbers are showing the Eagles should cover this number by a 2-score margin in the first half. So I'm actually showing a model average of minus 10. That being said, that's a great 6.5 or 5.5 point advantage, to our advantage, if you will, from the sportsbook line. So, the way I just look at this is, Eagles had their bye. They had a rested week. They did come out and play strong, against them in week 18 to secure their position as the number one seeding and everything like that. And, I go back to what I've been going back to on the well with them for this first half play for majority of our season, right? Like, they have the passing and offensive numbers to really exploit the Giants defense, which is ranked respectively in the very lowest tier. They look like trash with that, but hey, this is playoff time, right? Like, they showed up. I expected them to be that dog win over Minnesota. Minnesota had always looked very suspect with their differentials in terms of their numbers, from my point of view. So I have them, Giants respectively ranked 29th on defense, passing defense at number 32. I just don't see them keeping up with such a strong team that has pretty much owned them all season. And I think they will continue to show that this weekend. So that is where I'm going. First half, Eagles minus 4.5.
I think sometimes we need to remember, as bettors, we fall in love with the last thing we saw. And we kind of saw what happened, and we need to be able to kind of sit back and look at the stats. So, just kind of looking at it, I get it. In layman's terms, the Giant, how can I say this? The Eagles defense is light years better than the Vikings defense.
Right.
And maybe, Daniel Jones getting a little overhyped for what he did. So I like it. I like the Eagles and look, dude, I hope they win. I'm sitting on a 35-1 future. So I definitely like the Eagles there. Hopefully they can get it done and, move on. Definitely like that first half bet. My player prop, and I know you're going to like this, my man. It's a high number, but I feel I have to do it. Stephon Diggs
Yes.
over 80.5. Since losing Awazie, teams have been able to throw on the Bengals. The Bengals are actually allowing the fourth most passing yards since he went down. Also important to remember that Eli Apple got hurt. So now instead of one DB out, you're going to have potentially two DBs out. And let's face it, Eli Apple is nowhere near the level of a DB that can cover Stefon Diggs. Diggs, 28% target share. He's averaging 9 targets per game. I think they're going to look to take advantage of the issues in the Bengals secondary because the Bengals run defense is so stout. They definitely have some holes in the secondary. And with Britt and Apple and potentially Apple not even being there, that's a huge matchup. I think the Bills are going to be able to throw all over the Bengals. And I think you should cruise over this number. Also, if you want to do a prop where Diggs to have the most receiving yards for the weekend, I actually like that prop a lot. So my first play, Stefon Diggs over 80.5 yards receiving.
I love it. I love to hear that. Music to my ears. I mean, I was just checking that line on the Bengals-Bills game. And, you know, to your point, not only just their secondary banged up, but, you know, that is actually their weakest focus as a like holistic team, if you will. They sit in the middle of the pack in terms of passing defense. So, you know, my numbers 100% support that as well.
And let's face it, like your boys, David's a Bills fan.
Yep.
They're just not a run heavy team. You know what I mean? It's always going to be a pass first team. And, you know, Diggs was going out of control last week until the Dolphins started doubling him. I don't know if they're going to start to double him this week. I think he's going to eat.
I do too.
I'm pulling it up right now. He is, you know, plus 750 to have the most receiving yards. You know what? For the weekend, I honestly don't hate that one at all. You know,
yeah,
plus 750 most receiving yards for the weekend. I kind of like that. So you can throw a little money on that too as well. Now let's shift our attention over to the sides / totals. Which one are you going with first, my friend?
Yeah, so the game that I'm going to look at, I think the game is probably going to have the most hype all weekend, possibly. I don't know. All these are really great matchups, but Cowboys 49ers, right? Sunday Night Football. You know, I'm looking at both side and total in this game, but the play that I'm giving out is going to be on the side. I'm looking at San Francisco -4. This team is, you know, ranked from my numbers in the top 5, if not the top 2 across the board of rushing offense, rushing defense, passing defense. Passing offense is the only area they kind of lack in a little bit. Obviously, they use the run as a little bit of extension of the pass with McCaffrey. You know, so Cowboys, you know, all right, they made it past old man Brady and the Bucs, right? Like, good for them. They're coming up against a whole different beast in the defense, a whole different beast in offense to you know, contend with from their defensive perspective. Not to say that the Cowboys have a bad rushing defense, but you know, their passing defense is going to be a little more suspect with some of the weapons around, you know, Purdy and the Niners and kind of what they're going to have to show. So I think it's going to be a great game, but I do have the Niners. My model average is showing more of like a line of -9, if you will, if I'm rounding up from -8.5. So, you know, I got them pretty much winning against Dallas by pretty much a 2-score margin. And I'm going to back that. You know, -4 is a really favorable line, in my opinion. And that's where I'm going for this game.
I like it. And I'm not going to lie. This is the hardest game for me. Honestly, for me, this is every other game, the way I do stuff, I had a path. I was able to like look at numbers, look at trends and everything and figure some stuff out. But I have no play on the side right now in this game just because I'm just playing different stuff out and I just don't know what to do. But I see it as the 49ers more than likely winning a 31-7 or winning on a last second play. Like right now in my head of heads when we're recording this on Friday afternoon, that's where my head is. So Prescott doesn't like to throw when he's pressured, so that could lead to some turnovers. And here's a little gambling thing. Prescott was the highest priced ever to pay out for a future prop winner. So he had the most interceptions this year. He was the highest priced ever to win it, to like have something like that.
Oh wow.
Little bit of betting history. But with that being said, my side is in my play. My next play is the total in that game. I took the under of 46.5. This is my thought process. Like I said before, the 49ers defense is going to be able to get to Dak. Dak doesn't like it when he has to get off his mark. We has to run to his right or left, throw on the run. He's still kind of nursing that injury that he had a couple years back. Flip side, this is the best pass rusher that Purdy's played against. I think that he's going to be able to get to Purdy, make him a little bit uncomfortable. They're going to have to lean on that run game. But back to your point, I do kind of like the 49ers, just kind of thinking about it in my head, because the 49ers do have a better running game, and I don't think Dallas is going to be able to run in San Francisco because Elliott likes to run in between. Pollard likes to get to the outside, but I think that the speed of the linebackers is going to take away from Pollard getting able to the outside. And then in terms of Ward's issue in the secondary with Lamb, if Armstead, Bosa, and company are able to get to Dak, they're not going to be able to take advantage of the issues in the 49ers secondary, namely Jimmy Ward is allowing an 81% catch rate. So I don't know. I see this being a low scoring, like 17-14, maybe like a 24-7 type game. Like a game like that, I don't think either team scores over 24 points. So I'm on the under 46.5.
And my numbers support you there too. Actually, my score average for this game is a score total of 22-16 in favor of the Niners. So right under that, and so I'm obviously projecting more around a 38 total versus the 46.5 that the book is laying right now. And yeah, I agree. I think both pass rushes show up. Like I said, Dallas rushing defense is there just as strong as, you're talking probably the top two rushing defenses going against each other right now. So yeah. I think this game is going to actually be won a little bit more through the air if they, find those holes where they need to. But it's just a matter of who gets to who at the quarterback position a little bit more. And, and everything about my model is, stacking up that'll be the 49ers.
Yeah, it's an intriguing match on paper. I'm really looking forward to it. I kind of feel like when we just kind of look back at the four matchups, you and I can both play out a scenario in our head where the Jags-Chiefs game isn't close, where the Giants-Eagles game isn't close. And let's face it, Bengals don't have three offensive linemen where your boys will steamroll the Bengals. But this game, I don't know, it kind of gives that feel that it's going to be a little close with the 49ers pulling away at the end to give you their cover. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. It's going to be a great football weekend. I'd like to thank you for, taking time out of your day to come on your birthday weekend, my friend, old man. David, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media?
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. Yeah, anybody, always, look for me on Twitter, Instagram, Better DP21, better with an OR, and appreciate the time as always, E.
You know what? Hopefully we made you guys some money. We'll be back next week for, we're already at the championship round next week. Crazy how time has flied. You have a good weekend, my friend, and have one of those tasty Miller Lights for me, buddy.
Yes, sir. Let's go Bills Mafia.